quite some time ago. I felt like God had placed something on my heart. I immediately dismissed it because I didn't think that I was the person that could do it. And so I ignored what I knew was something that God was calling me to do. Fast forward several months, I was at a function and one of my former students was there. He had gone in 2012 to the Dominican Republic with me on a medical mission trip. As he shared his story, he was talking about how he got off the plane in the Dominican Republic and he looked down at his hands and he said, "Lord, look at the color of my skin. What am I doing here?" What God told him was, "You don't worry about that. You just do what I'm telling you to do." And as soon as Jeremy said that to me, I knew that was God speaking through Jeremy to me, saying, "You don't worry about that. You just do what I'm calling you to do." And even knowing that I was supposed to do this, I still didn't know what I was supposed to do. And I felt like God was telling me, just tell the story. Just tell the story.
I transferred here to Winona High School in 11th grade, and I literally had the time of my life because there were people here that were just like me, and we played some great football. I have a lot of football memories here. I grew up in a household where sports were king, and the reason why is because my mother knew that the only way we would get to college were through sports. The alternative was to stay at Walgreens, and one of the managers had told me that by the age of 22, I could possibly become an assistant manager. Coach Sullivan called me at Walgreens and he said, "Jeremy Towns, I want to give you a scholarship to come play football at Samford University." So that's my first interaction with Samford University, and my life has been different ever since.
The only school here in town that had my major was Samford University. So here I am, a Samford student. First day of class, I walked across the quad and I noticed that there was a piece that you get when you walk across the quad. Maybe 3 or 4 weeks in the job, Alan came in my office and told me about this vision that he had had. And the first thing I thought about was Jalen, my 10-year-old. Mommy couldn't go to Samford, and Mommy still cannot afford to have him to go to Samford. But through this opportunity, not only my son, but my daughter will have a chance to walk across the quad and have that peace that Mommy had when she was here for 2 days.
I guess it was around my senior year. My mom said, "Josh, you should apply to Samford. It's in Birmingham, it's a good school, and it's not very far." And I was like, okay, I don't really know anything about the school, don't really care much about it, but I'll do it. I got into Samford and I did receive a few scholarships here and there, but it wasn't enough to cover the cost to come. The night before I had to make the decision, my mom called me into her room and said, "Josh, if you had all the money you needed, where would you go to school?" I said, "Well, Mom, I feel like the Lord is telling me to go to Samford." And she said, "Well, Josh, when your grandfather died, he wanted you to be able to go to school wherever you felt like you wanted to go. And so he actually set aside and left you enough money to cover the gap between what we can pay your scholarships and all the other scholarships you have acquired, enough for you to go to Samford."
With this scholarship, those stories just become multiplied. So there are more and more opportunities for minority students to become professionals and serve in the community and thereby change their own communities wherever they choose to live.
I learned more than just about nutrition, more than just about sports, more than just about exercise and athletic injuries. At Samford, what you'll do is you'll find your purpose. You'll come in saying, "Yeah, I want to be a doctor," but then you'll say, "I want to be a servant to mankind." And then think about it. When you have that type of individual in your operating room, that type of individual in your PT clinic, you get more than just a student. You'll get more than just a person with a piece of paper. You'll get a person that they'll change the entire environment of your medical practice.
This establishment is not about the color of your skin. your background, your culture. It's about giving you the tools to be a successful person.
These students have now been equipped with some of the best education the world has to offer. And so that's big because now in a lot of counties and areas, you have very underserved communities when it comes to health professions. There are not very many doctors, nurses, or anything, and so these people are very medically underserved.
I don't know what God has in store for this scholarship, but we can't do this without support of others. So I fully believe that God has a plan for this scholarship, and He will fulfill that through the generosity of donors who are willing to buy into the vision of what this scholarship is.
It removes yet another barrier to healthcare. And I think that's where the value really transcends just giving a minority an opportunity. How many communities would be positively served if you had a practitioner that could develop those types of relationships with clients?
Because of this scholarship, you'll have a chance to say, I changed medicine in Birmingham, Alabama. I changed medicine in Mobile, Alabama, in the southeastern region of the United States. Now neighborhoods will be changed, communities will be changed, and now you'll have more people that have access to medical care. And my prayer and my hope is that this will become a model for universities around the nation.
Since you're pulling students from these different areas, you're now equipping them with the education they need to go on and pursue health careers, and now they're more inclined to go back home and help those underserved communities that would have not been helped if it wasn't for the fact of this scholarship.